Hello, all you gamer guys and gals. Thanks for hopping back on. It's Amy. I'm here with another movie review. I told you I was coming. You should have listened. Here I am. And since I did not get a request, even though I asked for one, I went ahead and picked one all by myself. So if you don't like it, you don't have yourself to blame because I said if you want me to review a movie, let me know. And you didn't let me know. So guess what? It's all on you. You don't like it. But here we go. It's a classic. Cult classic. Not well reviewed when it first came out. Actually, it was quite hated when it first came out. People said horrible, horrible things. The critics were not approving of this movie. They actually warned people not to watch it, said it was nasty and filthy and awful and horrible and all these horrible, horrible things. But the rest of us watched it anyway, and we loved it, and now it's in our collection. I have the original 78 version and the 2010 version, and here they are. I Spit on Your Grave. What? Most of y'all probably never even heard of that. You're about to, though. This movie, for its time, was very raw and it goes there. Do you know what I mean? Back then movies were kind of tame, kind of timid, kill scenes and torture scenes and, rape scenes. They were done, they didn't want them to be too realistic because they didn't want to traumatize people by their scenes, but they wanted it to be real enough to make you stay immersed in the story. But this movie, it went there. It went all the way there. They made sure that it was as realistic as they could make it at that time. Like I said, the original came out in 78, so special effects and technology stuff weren't as advanced as they are now. So you got to be gentle with your judgment. But it was really, really, really dark for that time, which is why I love it and why a lot of people have it in their collection that love, movies and especially that kind of movie. The gist of the storyline is a young writer named Jennifer Hills goes off kind of on a little retreat to kind of get her mind right and kind of be inspired to, to write her next story, next, whatever, next big thing. And while she's on this little getaway, some of the locals, some of the local dudes in the little town that she's staying in, for whatever sick, twisted reason, decide to gang up and rape her. They hold they hold nothing back in, you know, for that time, for this scene. They go, it's not like a wham bam, thank you, ma'am kind of rape. It's a one after another, taking their time doing, you know, it's a long, long part of the movie. So by the end of it, you as a viewer want to kill them yourself. In the original, they leave her for dead. They think, they finished the job, they have nothing to worry about, and they go on with their lives. Well, she wasn't dead. She gets up and she gets her revenge. Now, I'm not going to tell you, you know, what happens after that because that's the best part of the movie, and I don't like spoilers. I don't want to ruin it for you. Believe me, these scenes you don't want told you. You want the shock of these things. You want the awe. You want the cringe. You want to experience that for yourself. Um, but I will say there is one scene in a bathtub that has stayed with me my whole life. When someone mentions I Spit on Your Grave, that is the first thing that pops in my head every time because for that time it was, like I said, a very raw, dark, you know, really took it there scene. Not going to tell you any more than that. You got to watch it. Now, the main character, I mean, the main actress Camille Keaton. I think that was her name. Yeah. I don't think she really goes on to do much more that she's known for more other than this role. I think this is probably her most, known role. She does come back, and in 2019 they do a direct sequel from the original, and she comes back and plays that character Jennifer with a whole new storyline and all that stuff. I have not seen it, um, but if you're the kind of person that really enjoys completing a series or following a storyline or whatever, wants to get the whole thing, even if the sequels aren't that great, I suggest watching it, because who doesn't love when the original actress comes back to continue a role? I love it. It's one of my favorite things. The remake, the 2010 remake, um, Sarah Butler, is that her name? Yes, Sarah Butler was the actress in the 2010 remake. Now this version is the storyline. Of course, it's more modern. There's more technology. There's I hate to say that people are better actors today than they were back then, but if you watch older movies, you would have to agree with me. Acting has definitely improved over the decades. So the acting is a little better in the 2010 remake. But like I said, there's better technology, better special effects, things like that. And in the remake, if you thought the first one was bad and super cringeworthy, the 2010 remake is insane. If you can't handle blood and guts and you know torture and gross, painful looking things, then I'm not sure that these are the movies for you, especially the remake. The remake is hardcore. Now, for someone, a little younger, you're kind of used to harder hitting movies. Nowadays, well, back in the 70s, movies were slower. It took several minutes into a movie before they even got to any action. Usually, the first few minutes was like just some, you know, mind-numbing music playing while you just saw scenery, or just watch somebody do some mundane thing. And that was like the first several minutes of a movie before anybody even spoke a word. Nowadays, they hit you like in the first minute. Something's exploding, someone's getting killed, something's happening, something's popping off in some way, like quickly. They want to grab your attention quick and try to hold it. So because modern movies are more of a grab you quick and try to keep you there, you're used to that stuff. You may not be as affected by the remake as someone who saw the original one and then went on to see this remake. It's a big difference in how raw and realistic and stuff it is. So I suggest watching the first one, the original 78 version first, and then watching the remake. But if you hate older movies, I get it, then go ahead and watch the remake, the 2010 remake. But you will enjoy it if you're okay with the hard hitting, gross, painful looking, like it hurts you. It makes you cringe to watch these things happen. That kind of stuff. If that's the kind of stuff that you like to watch or can watch without being traumatized, then by all means definitely watch them. But if that kind of stuff's not for you, then maybe don't watch it. The 2010 remake had a couple of sequels. I did not watch those. Um, but I was asked to tell you by someone who saw the second one that it was trash. Now, I did not see it, like I said, so I can only pass on someone else's judgment. So if you watch it and hate it, it's your fault for not listening to me. I told you someone said to tell you that. But if you go on and watch it and love it, by all means let us know, and then maybe I'll watch it just to see which one of you are right. In the third one, Sarah Butler comes back to play Jennifer. She's, like I said, she's the actress in the 2010 one. She comes back in the third one to I don't know the storyline of that one. Like I said, I didn't watch it, but I think that's interesting. And that just having the two main actresses come back and play their roles again might make me actually go watch those, the Deja Vu and the third one, just to see how they do acting wise. I like to. I know I'm weird. When someone comes back to play the same role that they played in a previous movie, I like to see if they stay true to the character. Does it still feel like the same person? Do they have that acting ability to continue making you feel like they're still that person? If they come back and something's different, they're not acting the same, they're not speaking the same. It just has a different feel. I, um, I always want to know. I want to. It's just a little test of acting ability for me. It's just something that I do as an avid movie watcher. It's one of the things that I look for. So I probably will watch those just for that reason. The original director comes back also, um, from the '78 version, comes back and directs Deja Vu with the one that Camille comes back to do. So that probably is also another good thing. I just want to see if it kind of has the same feel, or how their directing skills have changed in, over the decades. It's another thing to look for. Now, if that kind of stuff doesn't even come across your mind to look for, it's not anything to interest you, then just ignore that and just watch it for the enjoyment of the story. But if you're like me and you kind of delve into other aspects of a movie other than just the story, those are some things you can look for. Um, I don't I don't know if, well, I don't want to say that. Um, okay, we're just gonna go there. This movie, I don't want to say it's sexist because it's not. I don't think that's the right word for it. You've got a woman who was gang raped by a bunch of dudes, and she gets her revenge on those dudes. You could say that the sexism part of it was that a bunch of dudes thought that a single woman by herself deserved to be raped. You could dive into that. My only critic, and what I say is kind of, I don't want to say sexist isn't even the real word, and I don't want to say it's unrealistic because it's not like it couldn't happen. It could, but they don't they don't lay the scenes out. They don't show. Okay, in her revenge things, the guys kind of wake up in these predicaments. Okay, and she's a tiny girl. She's a little tiny little thing, so it's kind of hard to wrap your mind around how she, all by herself, set these things up. Okay, so it's a little hard to believe that she does it by herself, as little as she is. You know what I mean? But like I said, I don't want to say it's sexist to believe that she couldn't. Do you see what I'm saying? If you can get past the social prejudices that, oh, she's a girl, she could never lift him up like that. She could never pull that off by herself. She could whatever, whatever. If you can get that out of your head, then you can use your own imagination to figure out how she did these things on her own, because they don't show you, they don't tell you. It just snaps to the scene and you're like, oh my God, how'd she get that? How'd she manage that by herself? This little tiny thing. But if you're going to hold on to those sexist, I guess that's the only word I can really come up with. If you're going to hold on to those kind of thoughts, then through the whole movie, you're going to be like, that could never happen. She would have never pulled that off by herself. She's just, she's only 100 pounds. I mean, she's, like I said, she is a small girl. But you got to remember, a woman's capable of just about anything when she's really pissed. I can see how she would do it. Use your imagination. It could happen. Put yourself in her shoes. Believe me, if it was me, I'd figure out how to pull it off too. And if you're the kind of person who loves revenge things, these are so satisfying. A lot of stuff in movies, the bad guy, when they get the bad guy back for whatever it is, it's not, it doesn't quite fulfill your need for revenge, you feel like, well, what they did was way worse than that. They just got, you know, whatever. Can't really think of any examples, but I know you know what I'm talking about because it happens all the time. Somebody does something horrible to this other person, and then they go back for revenge, and it's just something that's not even nearly as painful and bad as what the original person did. You want them to hurt, you want them to, you want it to linger, you want them to suffer for a long time. This movie delivers, especially the remake, the 2010 remake. It delivers big time. It's probably one of the most satisfying revenge movies I've ever seen. So if that is important to you, another reason to watch it. Um, there was one more thing I was going to say. Oh, I recently learned Demi Moore released a book, published a book that it's kind of like her life story or whatever. And in it, she reveals that she is actually the person in the picture on this on the cover of this movie, which you can tell it's not um, the original actress. It doesn't look like her, and but I never knew it was Demi Moore. So if you want to Google that and look into that, that's pretty cool. I thought that was kind of interesting. I had never all these years I had never heard that. So that's a little fun fact tidbit on the side. But that's all I'm going to tell you about these these wonderful movies. I don't want to give too much away. Like I said, the only downfall is it might be hard for you to believe if you've kind of got a sexist mindset going into it. You can let go of that and just, you know, get into the story and use your imagination. You can believe that yes, this tiny little thing can pull this off. And like I said, it's very, very, very satisfying. It does not leave you wanting more. You feel like justice was served by the end of it. So yeah, I Spit on Your Grave, 2010 version and the 1978 version. Watch them both. And if you like sequels, go for the sequels. But like I warned you, evidently the second one's not good. Didn't watch it myself. Can't verify. Watch it at your own discretion. But yeah, that's this week's pick. If you want to see another um, sequel review, I will watch those just to review them if that's what you want. Um, if you want me to review a different movie, it doesn't even have to be a scary movie or a gross movie. It could be any movie, anytime, anywhere, any that you've ever heard of ever. It could be something you've already seen and you just want my opinion. It could be something you haven't seen yet and you just want an outsider's point of view. I will be honest. If you ask me to review something, I'll tell you the truth. I'll tell you if I don't like it. I'll tell you what I don't like about it. I'll tell you if I love it. I'll tell you what I love about it. Um, so yeah, just drop them in the comments. Um, would be happy to hear from you. If you just want to drop in and say hi, we'd love to hear that too. If you love these movie reviews and you want to see more, definitely let us know. If you hate these movie reviews and you don't want to see them, let us know that as well. We want to deliver content that you're actually interested in. But that's all I've got for you today for I Spit on Your Grave. I'll be back next week with another one. It could be one that you've chosen. If you guys don't give me something to go on, I might have to pick one on my own, and I might pick something you don't want to hear about. So you better drop those suggestions in the comments. Until then, watch those movies.